I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets.
Can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.
Danger Zone, we are in. What is up, Murph?
What's going on, man? Just already getting a little lit on Friday night. That music always gets me going. I know Dane's always laughing when he sees me up in that little corner just acting a fool. Man, I'm really excited for this show. This has been really one of our bucket list ones for a while, right? So I'm really excited to get it going, man. It's been a long week. No better way to unwind than being in the danger zone, having a couple brewskis, or having just chilling, having some food, eating some food. Like Hazel, I'm sorry we don't provide the food, but but you can eat a little food, have a couple brewskis, do whatever you want, but just come hang out with us. We talk a little Jets football and have a good time on Friday nights.
You know what? Tonight, I think I got to correct you, Murph. I think tonight we are providing the food, so to speak.
Yeah.
What do What do I mean? You guys have to kick it for about 10 more minutes. You will find out exactly what I'm talking about, bro. But like you said, long week, man. I'm sure you were slinging coke all over the hood, right? Um, if you
Oh
know,
yeah,
you know.
you know, you know.
Coca-Cola for the G-rated viewers out there. Sorry, I'm looking really pasty tonight. I promise I'm getting some sun. I did some painting outside this week. If I didn't, I think you could see right through me. Um, but Murph talked to me. We did have some big news drop this week. Before we get to our guest, tell me, what did you think of the schedule dropping?
Wow. When you said big news, I was thinking elsewhere, to be honest with you. I was thinking about a couple legs missing. We're just like a rolling around torso, but maybe we'll get into that here in a little bit. Um, the schedule dropping, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This might be the least lit I've ever been for a schedule drop. You know, I don't want to take the air out of the sails or anything like that, but it's just like, oh man, we got to see something before I can get excited anymore. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like lost at this point. It didn't even matter who we're playing. Like, um, but I will say that the timing of at least some of the games is interesting because obviously I'd like to catch a game every year. I like to catch a game if I can. Um, we're not playing the Steelers at home or at Pittsburgh. So I actually have to travel now to go to one. But and it just so happens to be the same damn team. I think I'm going to be on vacation the week that the Steelers come into town, and I think it's been too damn long since old Murph has been to a Jet home game.
Dude, I love that idea. All I tell you, man, is get the tickets ASAP because you know how it is. Week one, man, everybody still has hopes and dreams and destinies and aspirations and and parking spots. So yeah, get on that, man. I sure hope you are there for that because for those new to the channel. Murph and I were both at the Pittsburgh Jets game last week, along with Hazel in the chat. She was there. Um, Not a good taste in our mouths. So if you can be there to witness maybe a better game than what we saw, at least second half wise, then I can live vicariously through you, get some of that revenge. Um, but yeah, schedule dropped, like you said, very hard. I mean, I I think there is one thing that I do think is fairly consistent between last year and this year, and I think that is that our greatest opponent is in the mirror, man. Um, Two different teams, two different regimes, two different quarterbacks, two different mantras, two different offenses, defenses, all that. I still think that how do you play, man? How are you going to show up? This team still has a ton of talent. Doesn't have all the talent it had, but it has a ton of talent. Got younger. Hell, got younger today. Um, how do you, dude? Can you show up, play disciplined and hard nosed? I don't care who's on the schedule. If you do that, am I
Well,
crazy to think of it that way?
I tell you what, I can't show up and play disciplined and stuff because I'm over 30, so I'd have got booted off the damn team today. But that's the point of it, though, is I think that's what Glenn, is wanting to do. He wants to install this culture, and we hear this stuff all the time with new regimes and stuff, and whether they do it or not is a whole different story. But they're at least taking the steps. They're getting their guys in there. They're slowly turning things around and setting the course right for the path that they want to take. And it's not an easy path, like as we know. Until we have us a stud quarterback, it ain't ever an easy path. Like it's going to be bumpy. There's going to be waves. There's going to be storms. There's going to be rocking the boat, man. But if you've built that boat solid, then you can withstand it, right? So if you build that culture, you can withstand the waves, you can withstand the storms, and you can end up on that paradise island that you're looking for, that we're all looking for. But
Dude, facts. No, I'm with you. And we've preached it before. We preached it. Hell, we preached it years before. We preached it weeks before. A big part of how you're going to feel about this season is where your expectations are, right? And if you are still in that win now mindset that we are one piece away from it all, then you are gonna, dude, get right now. That's all I can tell you is get right, because you are going to be in for a world of hurt, as if you haven't already had a world of hurt. I don't know, man. If you're still in that mindset, I don't even know if we can help you. But dude, we will get into the nitty gritty of it, I'm sure, with Bean. He's already gotten into the nitty gritty of it, I'm sure, on his channel, the other channels he does. I do want to get more of a broad stroke from him, since we don't speak to him all the time. But what I will say is, there's a lot of people saying, hey, this schedule is easy. And there are angles where you can paint that picture. But the first thing I noticed when I looked at it was the first 6 weeks, you have 4 playoff teams. You got 4 playoff teams the first 6 weeks of a new regime. So, and you start with Pittsburgh, a perennial, hard-nosed, sure-tackling, disciplined team right off the bat. And then you got the division gangsta, the division, who's our daddy? That's the Bills, right back-to-back. You got, it's a barometer check right out of the gate. So we're going to find out a lot in September.
yeah, I mean, man, I'm just not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear oh, we have an easy schedule. I feel like we hear it every year. Like, even if we don't have an easy schedule, we're still flipping it and turning it which way around. Like, oh, well, but we got 3 home games in this stretch, and that's our toughest stretch, and blah, 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 blah. No. It's the NFL, dude. There is nothing easy about the NFL. Not whenever you're a team like us that's, never had the silver spoon in hand. You know what I mean? We've never had that stud quarterback. We've had one guy that we had beliefs could take us to a Super Bowl. He did it as a long ass time ago, and we ain't seen it since. Whether we're cursed or whatever, I'm not getting into all that. I'm just saying we've never had that silver spoon. Some of these teams, it's just franchise quarterback after franchise quarterback after franchise quarterback, and you're going to hear me just telling everybody all the time, like, it's hard for me to be confident until we get that in place, So I'm never going to say, like, yeah, this is an easy schedule until I know that we got a quarterback that can contend.
That really is a big portion of it. Well, like I said, we'll break all that down forward and back. Hell, we got months as well to break it down. But before we do more breaking down, we've already chomped on it a little bit, I will say. Thanks for joining us. If you're in the chat, I do see you guys. You're popping off down there. Some of them are like, there is no way you guys got this guest. Yeah, you're as shocked as me. But let's this is, we love this guy, man. Talk about a content creator. Just getting into, introducing him here. There's a lot of creators out there, a lot of content creators, Jets wise, but like the guy we have tonight, I will say, is more than just a guy that breaks, gets news from Twitter, runs to YouTube and breaks that news. He actually has full conversation. He tells you about himself, man. And that's the best part, is you get to learn who this guy is. We'll let him speak for himself, but I do have to let the cat out of the bag here. Had someone following him today, And I just want to show you some photos they took. Here he was, you know, thinking that he just got done with the draft, man. And you guys know, Talking Jets, they take a hiatus right about now. So here he is, man. He's got the draft down. He's just wandering down the street, whistling. He's about to go on about a 2-month vacation, whistling. Do-do-do-do-do. Green Bean walking down the street. Oh no, what do we have here? Sky's getting a little gloomy. He is a little perturbed here. What is going on? Getting darker, getting darker. Oh no. He sees a vortex open up. Hey, we are live here, guys. And here it is. The danger zone is sucking him in. We say, hey, you got to wait. You got one more appearance to make, and we appreciate him doing it. Let's bring him out, man. See what he has to say. I'm no Gator McCluskey, but I try my best here.
That was fucking great, man. That was
What's
great.
up, dude? What is up?
Oh, what's up with you guys? So look, I'm sorry, my mic's not working, so I gotta just do the computer speaker. So or microphone. I apologize about that. I don't know what it does, but that was great. Look, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That was some impressive animation, or maybe not anime. I don't know what you call this, but dude. That was fucking legit.
That was us showing the audience that you didn't have a choice. We drew the freaking circle.
See, yeah,
you sucked me in a pentagram, and we sucked you in.
All right, man. That's how you got me.
And
look, the truth is, I'm grateful. You know, I'm sorry. I was supposed to be here, like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and I was violently ill, dude. I was like so sick. So I just couldn't make it. So I apologize about that. So I'm grateful, man. This is great. You guys are fucking talking about our shitty ass team. We're gonna see what we can make up and make ourselves feel better. Let's do it. I'm in.
Dude, we now, like, that was right after the draft. Honestly, like, we all have that week. We broke it down forward, backward, left side, right side. Right. Now you kind of got this breather. You can kind of really reflect on it, and we will. But also, like, who doesn't want to appear and talk about? We cut our punter and kicker, man. Dude. Like perfect timing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. I'll be square. I was a little pissed about the fact that we cut fucking Morstead. Like, what are we doing? Zerline, get out of here, dude. That guy. Look,
that's fine.
You know what I mean? We should have threw that guy in the garbage week 4. You know what I mean? He should have been stuffed. Whoever, Salah, Albrecht, whoever, their hands should have been on his ass as they stuffed him into a fucking trash can. That's how that should have went. Like, what are we doing with this guy? Just losing game after game after game. But Morstead is a stud. What are these guys doing? I mean, it's like they've made punter into something that we actually have feelings about. Like, why? The one position we were like, all right, at least we got him. You know what I mean?
What? $2 million? Is that what we're doing here, or are we just? Is it the youth movement? Where are you at? Like, where? How do you rationalize it?
Age. They're just, they're being consistent with their youth movement. Look, we saw Solomon Thomas, C.J. Mosley, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. Kinlaw, Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith. So we saw all these guys. I mean, there's a theme, which I do support, even though I love some of those names, but it's like, I get it. I support it. But, you don't have to be like, here's the thing. You ever heard the term, whatever doesn't bend breaks? You ever heard that? Like how they build bridges and they got to do the thing. It's like, you got a philosophy, right? Like, this is my philosophy. You can't. You don't have to die by it. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's a good punter. Why make something to think about? Why make another thing? I don't know.
And how much longer was he going to drag us out? Like, he's probably going to retire in a year or two. Why not just let him retire here and find a punter afterwards? It's not. Is he
Right.
costing us 10 mil? No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Because it's just like it's one of those things that doesn't make any sense. And he's like a really good guy. Like I've been at camp. He hangs around and he signs shit. Like he's just like for a punter, he's kind of like beloved because he's such a great guy. And it's like I don't know. It seems like losing him. Like he's probably a good guy around the locker room too. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I mean, what are you going to bring in this kid? Who do they have? Who is it?
Yeah. Dude, that Caden Riley, the chat can help me out. His first name's Caden. Yeah. Dude, whistle dick.
Caden Riley.
Like, dude, it must be this special team coordinator. I don't know. Like, and we expected on day 3 of the draft. I did caution, like I'm cautioning people. We could draft all day 3 just special teams guys because we have no more Brant Boyer. Now how many guys we did that day for special teams, I don't know. But what I'm saying is like there was going to be changes. I don't know, dude. For $2.5 million we saved. I think that is a guy that you want to transition a special team from one regime to another. Keep him one more year, then move on.
Right.
You got guys, dude, you got Clemens on the roster still, and that better not be the case here in a few months.
Around. They don't need to cut him anymore. They just saved fucking $5 million, whatever it is. So, I mean, Clemens you can literally recoup $3.5 million, I think it is. But here's the thing. I said it like, I don't know, months ago when we hired her. I said, guys, just make no mistake. Michael Clemens is the kind of player coaches want on the team. Yes, he does stupid shit, but the whole team did stupid shit. Like we were just a very undisciplined, no accountability team. Michael Clemens, don't forget, his rookie year, we loved him. He was just an animal, right? He wasn't ever going to get you 15 sacks. That's not who he is. He's just a workhorse kind of guy. He plays really hard. He's aggressive and the whole thing. And then they asked him to gain 30 pounds, and he did. He didn't bitch. He just did it. We're going to move you inside. Then they didn't move him inside. They kept him. Here's 30. Here, add 30 pounds, and we're going to keep you in the speed position, right? So he can't do that. Then we say, hey, don't worry about it. Lose 30 pounds now. Don't worry about that 30 quid. Forget it. Take it off. He goes, okay. And he loses the 30 pounds. And we're doing, and he's just a team guy. And so he does all that for the team. And now we hate him because he sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's doing so it's just one of those things, man. It's like, but you look at the guy, he's not overly expensive. He's more expensive than we want for what he's done. But the truth is, man, is that he's exactly like he's the perfect depth player. And I said it months ago. I said, guys, don't be surprised if Clemens and Lazard are hanging out for 2025, man. I know we're all like, oh, they're gone. I'm like, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't be blown away.
You know what I will say is I don't really care if we keep him. More so is I don't want to see him get 650 snaps again. Like that's too much, man. That's too much.
Well, who did we get? Look, we used a draft pick on an end. We got the kid from the Titans, right? We got that guy. What's his name? Fred? I don't even know. Fred Simmons. I don't know. There's a lot of guys we don't know. Are they Jags? Are they up and coming? We just gotta hope. I mean, I'm more worried about the inside, honestly, than the outside. But even there, something could shake free. I mean, we got Tufele and Naughty Guy, and we just gotta wait and see. We did mention. And we do have some questions I want to hit you with, but we mentioned Clemens and Lazard. Where are you at with Gibson? Oh, dude. Hold on 1 second. I got to let my dog in. He's just scratching on my door. Hold on. That's 1 second, Dana.
You're fine, man. We can hit some chats here.
You mentioned Gibson and he ran, dude. I'm not getting into this. He's like, I don't want to break my computer tonight.
Okay.
Did you catch that, though? Green Bean is a Clemens truther. I never would have guessed it. Oh, hey, Green Bean.
My guy. Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. I'll be equally passionate about the opposite feelings for – and I don't really love Clemens, but it's funny. But Gibson, dude, This guy, just know this. He's an undrafted free agent. He's 5'8", or whatever he is, 9. He's a buck, 70, whatever he is, and he's really had one play in his first game. Right, he's done a couple of little things. He scored that touchdown on an end around later the year, little, but he's had many fumbles, drops that we didn't lose, just things like that. Sloppy. He has pushed Mecole Hardman off the team, Malachi Corley, the wide receiver that we had to have, our 4th overall wide receiver in the draft. We traded up to get this guy. He can't get on the field because Xavier Gibson. I can't.
Dude, the Lazard Hail Mary against, I think, Buffalo or whatever it was. We had 4 wide. Gibson was one of our Hail Mary receivers on that play.
And yeah. His vertical must be 44 inches. I mean, it would have to be.
Did he bring a step stool with him when he was running down the field? Is that what?
Right? I mean, the guy, look, and I'm not talking, but I preface this. I never talk about the man, right? I'm not talking about somebody's life, like their fucking wife and kids and all this shit. But as far as a football player on my team, I have venom because I've been here for this will be my 43rd year, dude, of watching piss poor output that I am convinced I could have produced significantly better results because I watch all the players that I would have selected in the draft. They're all Hall of Famers and Pro Bowlers. Oh, we're like, no, we're going to take this guy. And I'm like, I since I'm 20 years old, I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
But so this guy, Xavier Gibson, it's like, why this is going to be his 3rd year in the starting lineup or let's say the 53 from an undrafted free agent. We've had so many guys in here that I thought were better. And it's just crazy, man, that he's still here. I'm hoping this kid that we reached for in the 4th round can push him off the damn team. If he does that, then all right. The pick makes sense.
Yes, indeed.
I think Arian Smith last year probably was better at holding on to the ball than Gibson has been in his NFL career. So why not? But so it's like if you hit on UDFAs, it's great, right? That is such an excellent thing to do for a team. And I know that's something that's Joe Douglas and Saleh wanted to do, and they did okay. Yeah. But then it felt like they tried to force it with guys like Gibson, Well, let's hope that this new staff doesn't do that. But I did want to kind of get an overview. I know we've drafted out, man. I get it. You were marathoning it. Dane marathoned it. I did a little bit with him too. But I did want to get just who are you confident in the guys that we picked up in UDFA? Or is there any guys that really caught the old green bean eye?
To be honest with you, I'd have to look again. I admittedly, right after the draft.
Oh no, I can't remember.
I just shut my brain off. So it's a great question. And every other year I would have just stockpiles of information. And this year, I got to tell you guys, last year stole my soul. It really did. And I'm having a hard time coming back. To be honest with you, what happened? Am I still here?
No, Dane's got you right
here.
Oh,
okay. I didn't know what the hell's going on. Well, there you go. There you go. Let's talk about these losers. All right, here we go. Well, one of the things that we were really looking for in this draft, because it's touted as the strongest defensive tackle draft in at least 20 years, right? And we didn't grab one. So it's just and you look at our division rivals, the Buffalo Bills, aggressively went for defensive tackles and said, this is what the draft is. It's just ridiculous to me because, we talk about this stuff ad nauseum. We dissect, we do mocks, and we do all this shit. And we talk about it and we go, the draft is giving you these positions. So you take those positions. That's what you do, right? And you see a good team, a good franchise like the Buffalo Bills they come out and it's as if they watch us and they go, well, here's the thing. The draft is strong in this position. So we figure, why not take that fucking position? It's like, wait, people really think this way? It's not just us. Like, you know what I mean? And then the Jets are like, well, you know, we didn't want to lose our chance on fucking Zachariah Smith. Whatever, you know, it's like, well, you know, what about a defensive tackle? And the Bills, knowing that we needed a defensive tackle, what did they do? They traded twice right in front of us and took them. Because
yes, they did.
So you look at the undrafted free agents, and okay, great. So this is what they can say now. No, everybody, we got a plan, okay? Because we had our eye on Peyton Page out of Clemson and Fatorma Mulba out of West Virginia, and these guys, you know, these are the guys, right? So, but here's the thing: I really am high on last year's undrafted free agent LT3. That guy is legit. And he was, dude, everybody had him as a draftable player, right? Everybody. So the fact that he made it, like, I feel like you get a steal there. And that's one of those things that happens, you know. I don't necessarily see that here. Like, you know, where's the kid from Rutgers, right? I always tell everybody, it's like, oh, Rutgers. I'm like, dude, listen, if you're taking players from Rutgers, you're going to be a loser. All right. I just, look, I'm from New Jersey. I used to hang out at Rutgers. I used to go to the grease trucks, and I used to pick up heroin right next to Rutgers Newark. Like, I fucking got a lot of Rutgers blood in me. But, dude, let's just be real here for 5 seconds. They suck. And when you bring Rutgers players, I mean, we had that guy Jamal Westerman for a little while. And he
yes,
was
we
from
did.
Rutgers. Remember him? And he
yes,
was like,
I do.
You know, we loved him because he was actually like, he was an NFL player. That was true. But you weren't going anywhere with Jamal Westerman in your starting lineup.
Nope.
And we cheered for him and we liked him and he made his plays. He did okay. He's nice. You know what I mean? Like, when are we going to cut the shit? So I don't know. This is the quarterback is interesting. I'm glad we got a kicker. I was a big fan of drafting a kicker. I just think it's foolish. Like, all these draft nicks, these nerds, these Dom C's and everybody that I hang out with, they're like, well, it doesn't, you know, the fucking percentages. And I'm like, yeah, dude, listen, man. In the 6th round, you're picking a loser, okay? Like, when you're in the 6th and 7th round, like, I can find players because that's where I'm getting my fatties, right? I tell you guys all the time, and I know how to do it. But nobody, it's like, I don't know, it's crazy. But you're taking cornerbacks, like, it's like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not finding a corner in the 6th. You're not.
Rare. I mean, it happens, but it's really rare. The best way to get a starter out of the 6th round is grab a kicker. Dude, can anybody deny the value of a kicker?
Dude, we had this debate. I think even you and Dom had the debate before the draft. Yeah, do we draft? I was team draft one because it locks them in for a few years. If they're good, you're set for a while.
You're set.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the thing. Commit once. Get it right. Take the top kicker in the country. Here's the thing with kickers. It's really easy. It's a really easy assessment. Like, you look at his percentage, point afters, and field goals. You look at his distance, and then you look at the weather that he kicks in, right? And you take the guy who's the best at the things that your environment is going to impact him in. And you get it right, and you don't worry about it for 10 years. And that cornerback that you took over him is going to be pushing carts at Home Depot in 2 years. I mean, with all due respect, right? But you know what I mean? Like, you know, we took, what's his name? Jonathan Marshall. He had a perfect 10 RAS score. Joe Douglas is fucking salivating. He was on our squad for 2 years, on our practice squad. And then he goes, the Browns or something picked him up for a season, and we were all mad. We're like, oh, he was our secret weapon. And then he's cut, and he's literally out of the NFL. We could have got a kicker.
So nobody you're writing home about on this list, though?
No, but admittedly, there he is. Demir Miller, Rutgers. There he is. Donovan Edwards, I like. That's the one guy. But he had a poor senior season. But boy, oh boy, was he something else. And he's a guy that brings something that, like, I love our running back room. That's like my favorite. Like, Garrett Wilson is amazing. And I don't think gets enough credit, quite frankly, because, I mean, look what he's done with it's been ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But our running back room is a strength. And this guy brings something that we don't have. And that's what I like about him. So I don't know what happened to him his senior year. I mean, it was a little banged up or something, but there was more to it from what I understand. Because if it was just a little injury, he's drafted. Like, nobody worries about that stuff. The reason that he made it through and there was a lot of running backs taken before him. So, but anyway, I do like the potential of that guy as like a change of pace. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Murph, you got another one for us?
All right. Green Bean, I know you love your big fatties. I know. I've been watching the show. You're talking about your mic not being perfect and stuff. I'm like, dude, I was watching RV Green Bean back in the day.
Yeah.
Let's not even get all picky here. But
I know. I'm a spoiled brat. So
you love your fatties and stuff. Well, the fatty I've been hyping up, and I am a little biased, I will admit. Green Bean, I know you've been representing down there in Virginia lately. I live in West Virginia. I watch WVU football. Fortorma Mulba is the guy that I got my eye on. Okay, and you know what? What's bad is when we picked him up, I'm like, West Virginia. I'm like, who? Wait a second, what? Because I didn't even really recognize his name. But if you think about it, for a nose tackle, that's a good thing. They're not there to get the sacks. They're plugging the holes and they're stopping the run, right? And that's what he's good at. If you want a quick, I don't know if you've done any film at all on him or whatever, because I know it's so many players, but I know Dylan Terraman has a new channel out there, and he's got a video where he's breaking down some Fortorma Mulba. Take a little time, guys. People watching in the chat, take a little time to watch it. Good stuff. But look at the freaking arms on that guy.
Yeah, that's I like it. Yeah. I'm with you.
22s.
Well,
he's
and
22s.
Yeah. And I'll defer to you, right? So, like, it's one of those things. So, look, he's 6'4", 306. I can't seem to get his stats. His stats aren't coming up here for whatever reason. Let me see. But, yeah, dude, look, I'm all about it. Here's the thing. And this is why I talk about the 5th, 6th, 7th round for defensive tackles. Especially when you're looking for, when you're not looking for penetrators, right? When you're looking for two gappers at space eaters. That's what we like to call them. That's why I like fat asses. Just a guy, you just can't move him. You just can't move him. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. You double team him. You do everything you can. You can't move the guy. He's just too fat, right? One of those guys, super strong. So getting a defensive tackle in the undrafted free agent crop is something that I believe in. Like, I think you should always be going for those guys. Like, from the 6th, 7th round and undrafted free agent, you should have, in my opinion, like 3, 4 defensive tackles coming in. So we got 2. And from West Virginia is weird. It's like, it's a big school, but it's a small school for a big school. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those weird anomalous things. It's like UVA is like that. Like, it's in the ACC. They play, it's like all the games are big, but they're still a small school. It's like weird. I can't really explain it, but
they're an established school. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but players will get overlooked there. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those situations. I think players can get overlooked. So, hey, man, I'm right there with you. I love that you brought him up. I love that your hometown pride. Like, I'm totally into it and I support it. I'm gonna dig into this guy. I'm gonna fuck around with this guy.
Add him to your radar for sure, man. I had a question while we have you, man. I think this might be on Murph's list as well because it is a big one. We talked about Gibson, obviously. We talked a little on Lazard, which is fine. Let's leave that there. But overall, did we do enough at receiver for this 1 year window?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, look, here's the thing, though. They did do something, right? So you brought in what? Reynolds and that other guy. Reynolds I like. The other, I forget his name. I don't really like that much. And then you take a kid. But here's the thing. I am a firm believer, and I get shit on all the time. Everybody's an asshole. That's just this one, I'm fucking right here, okay? Malachi Corley. You can't count last year against this kid. If we've proven anything with our previous staff is that they knew nothing about developing an offensive player. And when a kid, you get him on the field and he makes all the moves and gets in the end zone and he excitedly drops the ball an inch. That's a stupid mistake. Nobody's going to say anything, but it's not an indicator of anything other than it's a rookie mistake. That's it. What you do with that, if you're a coach worth half a fucking bag of beans, you put them right back on the field. The next play, dude.
There is no way you let that fester. There's no way.
Dude. And they put him in the doghouse. Dude, they don't know what they're doing. So I am of the thought that they look at this as, now Justin Fields too, he's not going through his full progression of reads. He's just not doing that. He might get to his to his second read. He might. That's just what he is. You got to know that. I don't care. I think, dude, if Justin Fields throws for 2,000 yards but rushes for 1,800 or so, I don't care. I just want to get in. I wanted some exciting games. But so I think they're looking at this team like, look, we got a powerful running back room. We got this kid, the tight end, and they like this Stone Smart kid. So whatever he is. He's a pass-catching tight end. So, all right.
Yeah.
But you bring in Taylor, who I love, by the way. One of my favorite. He was my tight end 3. And then we got him in right where he should have went, So I'm excited. So they're looking at the offense. Like, you got Garrett Wilson for first read. You got Taylor right there. You got the running backs that are the safety valves. All of them have excellent hands and are very good in space. All 3 of them, right? And then you got the other guys for your gadgets and your sweeps and your whatever else. And you got Corley and you got Smith. And that's what they're looking at. That's what I think. So it's like, and if that's the case, look, we're going to run a close to the vest kind of exciting power offense. Then, our quarterback's going to take off whenever he wants, that kind of a thing. And we're going to eat up chunks of space. And if you come up to stop that, Garrett Wilson's open all day. And if he's not, we're dumping it to Breece Hall. As long as they can figure it out, like our offense for 4 years has seemed very much like, well, there's no game plan. They're just running plays. Like there's no design to the game, and you can see it. So so to answer your question, I don't think we did enough. At the same time, we might have done enough for what they're trying to do. I just wish they would have secured the Justin Fields experiment. Make sure there's no questions. And I think there might still be some, and I don't like it.
So then that's going to lead me right into the next thing right here. I want to know, do you think, because of just what you're saying, and I'm in total agreement with you. By the way, I was preaching that last week about if you fall off the bike, you have to get back on. I wrecked my first car. My dad handed me the keys to go to take care of everything about the car being wrecked. Like he said, you're driving. I'm like, well, wait a sec. He said, no, you have to. And I did. And now I drive a freaking tractor trailer every day. So like, I'm fine. Yeah. Well, we want Corley to be driving that damn tractor trailer. Anyway, I need to know, do you think that the staff, like the front office and Glenn, all these guys, are they actually trying to compete this year? Or do you think that they're just trying to coast this season and really rely on hitting next offseason to compete the following year?
Well, I don't think they're tanking. Okay.
I didn't use that word.
Yeah, right. So, and I know, and I picked up on that, but so, because that's the debate, right? Like, are they tanking? Are they trying to do something? And so I don't think they're tanking. I think they're putting a team together that they feel can potentially compete. And you got to keep young players happy. Like you can't, look, Garrett, it's not like these guys are first or second year players. Garrett Wilson's, it's like, dude, he's tired already. It's like, this fucking place is the worst. We brought Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams in here. You have 5 wins. You know what I mean? So it's, you got to kind of play the game, but that's where it scares me too. Because I think if you're tanking, you don't even sign Justin Fields. You know, you go Tyrod Taylor, you get some, you know, you got Martinez. You know what I mean? You just do that. You start Martinez, then see, you
Bring
know, who
Trevor
knows?
back.
You know what I mean? That's a tank. And you know, and you know, like you just do it that way. I think that they're trying to compete, but they're not too worried about if they suck either. And that's a problem because we're gonna do look, there was a thing that came out today. It had the Jets projected to be picking second overall and taking a quarterback. And it's like once again, like they predict us to suck, but not suck the best. You know what I mean? Which we haven't done since 1997, dude. We're coming around the mountain to 30 years.
Do you think that? Do you think they're more so trying to not tank? Sorry. Are they trying to develop this year?
That's what I was kind of getting to. So it's like, you know, you got some 1-year guys, you know, they're going to evaluate, they're going to develop, and they're going to try to see what, you know, look, if Justin Fields can be an NFL quarterback, like somebody that you can invest in. I still think they're taking a quarterback next year, no matter what Justin Fields does. And I think that's smart. That's what you should do. I just don't know, you know, if we want to trade up and do all that kind of stuff. And then, because I'm a big fan of letting the quarterback sit. It's the era I come from. That was the way it was done. These kids never came in and started right away. You know, it's like it was the way to do it. And everything's changed. And obviously we know why they do it the way they do it. But you see it. It's like there's so many quarterbacks. And look at the recent ones. You know, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Like they needed a couple years, you know, to kind of to settle down. And maybe if they got that in the beginning without the trauma of being the savior of a shit franchise like the Browns or the Jets or Fields with the Bears. I mean, these guys have 4 offensive coordinators in their first 2 or 3 years. It's crazy. How are they supposed to be anybody? So I don't know. I think, you know, if we're like a, you know, 5-6 win team or something like that, and we're in that top 10 again, and you take a quarterback and just let him sit for at least a year. I'm a big fan of that, man.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. The only problem I have is like the way that the timing lines up, because we all know that this draft that we just had sucks for quarterbacks. Like it sucks. I mean, if it's not Cam Ward, it's nobody. Like as far as I was concerned, and there was no chance of getting him. So then you're going to have a year, you know, this we'll call it an installation year. I mentioned coasting earlier, whatever. And then let's say we get that quarterback next year. In today's NFL, are they ever going to be patient enough to let him sit for a year? Because I'm in the same mindset. I think you have to. Like, I think if you want to like boost the chances at your quarterback being successful in the NFL, you let him sit and let the game slow down for him, man. It's throwing him into not just the New York media market, but throwing them into the game where everybody on the field is running a 4.3 40 and the holes close in half a second. Like, yeah, it's a lot. So but are we going to be patient enough? We'll be screaming for Glenn's head by the end of that year if we let him sit. You know what I mean? So I just don't like the timing. That's my whole problem with how all this is going down.
Well, this is why I should have been selected as the general manager. This is what it is, because I would have spoke to us, right? I would have come out. I would come out at the beginning of the game, 80,000 fucking people, and I go, guys, I want to talk to you for 5 minutes, right? This is what we're doing, okay? And this is what I need from you.
Yes.
Okay, it's been 40 years of suck, okay? We're gonna get through this. Here's how we're gonna do it. This is what I need from you, and I would talk to us, and I would come out weekly addresses. You know, like we're like Joe Douglas speaks. And then it's like 7 months, you know, it's like, well, he comes out, you're like, oh, that guy. You know what I mean?
You can't establish a message talking that sparsely.
Right. I'd have a weekly spot, like a fucking fireside chat with the GM. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, I'd go out at every game. I'd be out in the crowd. I'd be telling people, you got to do that stuff, man. You got to let everybody know, because like you're talking about, Murph, like the impatience. It's not that we're impatient. We are, but it's not that. It's that we have been waiting, dude, for decades.
Yes.
No, and we're out here making the picks and doing all the things and managing the team and the right coach. And like we watch other teams do what we are talking about doing, and they're perennial winners. The Ravens and Chiefs draft my players every single year.
We also see people rebuild in 1 year.
Yeah. When we've
We
been
can't-
rebuilding, you know,
50 years.
it sucks because we got some really good talent, man. But no, here's the so look, silver lining, right? So for the first time in a long time, we have the makings of a truly good young offensive line, right? Now there's 3 first-round picks and a second on there. You have a lot of resources, but don't matter. It's important. You got a young quarterback who's crazy athletic, super strong arm. He's got Jalen Hurts. He's bigger than Jalen Hurts and everything. Taller, bigger, weight, heavier. You got great running backs, room. You got a fucking great wide receiver. You know what I mean? You got a really good young tight end. Like if Tanner Engstrand if he took anything from Ben Johnson, which he should have, right? That's the guy.
Yep.
And Aaron Glenn bringing the discipline, which is what we need, dude. I'm a big fan of that. People are, oh, you can't, like Robert Sala. What am I going to make him do push-ups? Dude, get out of my house. Get the fuck out of here. I would have fired him the second he said that. What do you mean? No, first of all, if that's your comment, you're an idiot. Second of all, there has to be consequences. They're grown men. They don't want to hear what they did wrong. They want to hear how to, dude, you are miles off course. Miles off course. These people are man children. Okay? They are competitive, and the one thing they respond to is when competition is removed from them. They have worked their entire life to get here, and you say, stop, sit your fucking ass down.
Yep.
And this is why. I'm telling you, as a GM, I would have given myself another position. I'd also be like the quality control coach so I can be involved in the games, running around. I'd be leaning in my head coach. You could let him get away with that? Is it real? 3 fucking false starts?
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Why is the quality control coach yelling at the head coach? He's the fucking general manager. That's why. He's a crazy man. But that's it. So Aaron Glenn with the discipline. If Tanner Engstrand and these guys can just bring some development, some cohesiveness, which we have not had, man. Sadly, because Greg Knapp died. He was the guy. And I did like the plan. A young LaFleur, he's gonna, and he drew up great schemes. I broke down his all 22 every single week, dude. He was scheming guys. It was beautiful. We didn't have the quarterback development, So anyway, when that ruined everything, really. But anyway,
let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Bean, because I feel like our fandom lives were kind of frozen 6 months ago in the middle of the season. Things were bleak as hell. We were 3 in a million. It was hard for me to find any way of being optimistic in 2025. I knew this was 2026 then. I knew. But I will say, for me personally, the Aaron Glenn hire, it did something for me. The last 6 months, what I'm saying is we've made a lot of moves. People gone, people hired, people committed to, people not committed to. Your opinion 6 months ago, if I asked you where are you going to be in May, on May 16th, then how do you think that is compared to what it is today?
You know what? This is a great question, man. Well, I'm being serious. I'm thinking, right? That's a good question. I'm like, that's interesting. Here's where I am, though. Okay, this is my answer. Okay, because you asked a question, I'm going to give you an answer. So, I would have told you that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams would still be here. They need to fix the offensive line and run it back. because this was clearly, we had the horses and it didn't. So they got the garbage year out of the way, run it back. You know, the coaches were so piss poor that you just couldn't. And once that happened, like once everybody was fired and you had to bring in somebody new, if it was Vrabel or even Flores, guys who've been there, done it at a high level, you could have entertained keeping Aaron Rodgers. You cannot keep Aaron Rodgers, especially with Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, with the allies, the Aaron Rodgers clique. You can't bring in a rookie head coach and a rookie offensive coordinator, because the moment that there's a disagreement, something doesn't go right, he's on McAfee, and that's it. The team is divided. So, but to answer, like, you know, that's my fleshing it out. But I would have told you then the smart money was on keeping Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, because he would have stayed if Aaron Rodgers stayed. That was just the way it was. Once we said we're moving on, he's like, well, then, dude, there's literally no way I'm staying here. This place is still right?
So let me ask you that. Like, had you known they were leaving, do you think that we got, like, because there was a time when I didn't think we would recruit any coach worth their salt at all. And I thought that Glenn was a decent hire in that regard. GM, not too confident yet. But like, how do you think the 33rd team hiring did? Like, what would you grade that?
Well, I would grade it pretty well, because look, Aaron Glenn, again, like, look, we're built for this shit. All that's great. Everybody gets all caught up in it. That didn't land on me the same way. Okay. Like, but what did land on me was when he talked about his time here. And he said that AFC championship game against the Denver Broncos, we were up 10-0 at halftime. I want that one back. That, to me, is like, I just got like a little chill saying that. Ooh, fucking chicken flesh. So that to me says, and he said this was the job. You know, again, there's only 32 NFL head coaching jobs in the world, right? So you'll take one. But this was the job he wanted. I believe that because he's been here twice before in different roles.
Yep.
And when he said that, that showed me that he's the singular individual available, the only person that is walking in here carrying some of the same pain bags that we're carrying. He's still walking around with that one. And that to me says, and you see the way he handles the press. He's like, man, when you say, shut the fuck up. How's that sound for you? You know what I mean?
I love that.
Stupid.
We've all wanted to say that to him.
Yeah, dude. He's just like, he cuts him right off. I already know what you're going to ask. Here's the answer. Next question. You're like, they don't know what to do because he's been here, man. He knows they're not your friends. Robert Sala's calling Joe Beningo going, I don't know. I just want everybody to like me. And Joe Beningo's like, I'm right to the damn radio. You know, he's telling the world. How could you possibly believe anybody in the New York media is not going to spill the beans, dude? And Aaron Glenn knows. So, like, again, when he said that comment,
it resonates more.
I don't know what he's going to do. And he wasn't my number one guy. Because I'm defensive rookie, all that stuff. But I said it and I meant it. If it's going to be a rookie head coach, it's got to be Aaron Glenn. You know what I mean? Like, you're taking a shot. It's got to be the guy who actually loves us. You know what I mean? Cares. So and they got Spielman to help Mouge, which I thought was good. But that day 3, baby, of the draft, I don't know what they were doing, man. They lost me. It showed me they got some work to do. Because I'll tell you what, I would have rocked that day 3. Rocked it.
I mean,
dude, I can't.
You know, I was just going to say, it's first year. They probably don't even have all the scouts that they want in the building and stuff like that. They're probably like, hey, let's look at these top 150 real heavy, and then we'll just throw shit at the wall for the last 3-4 rounds. you know. Which isn't that what we all do anyway, you know, a little bit. So
it does suck. There were some names, man.
Yeah, well, Dano, and I'm sorry to jump on you, but just to Murph's comment there, like, it's really like, that's the thing. Like, when we talk about our impatience, right? Like we're almost victims in this because the truth is if you're going to hire somebody to do a highly scrutinized job for the first time ever under the spotlight, the microscope, you have to factor in that they're going to be learning how to do it on the job. You got to afford it. But here I am, 43 years. Bro, I look at this. This is the signify. This is not the look of a young man. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I've been here the whole time since I'm a child. You know what I mean? I didn't even have fucking pubes, man. That I was like already here. And it's like, so it's like, you know, you just, and I'm a rational human being. Like, again, like I know, dude, he's a first timer. You know, he's going to blow it. He's going to make a mistake, but I'm so tied up that it's hard. It's like, dude, for God's sakes, please, somebody pick the fucking right guys, you know, and do the right thing. So I don't know. I think the 33rd team did as good of a job as this unattractive landing spot could have mustered. That's what I think, honestly.
Hey, the last thing I'll say regarding that was a good point. If I think about it, I'm 33, I'll be 34 in July. Every job I've ever had, everything from just being like a cashier at a grocery store to I drive truck for Coca-Cola and deliver nowadays. I've been a surveyor, I've been a butcher, I've done a lot of different things. Every single job I've ever had, I have had this period of time where I was trained how to do that job. I had someone overseeing what I'm doing, showing me how to do it, the steps to do it correctly. These are some of the few jobs probably in the nation where you get hired and it's like, well,
go ahead.
Here's the keys. Drive the truck, kid.
Go be great.
Yeah.
Right. And imagine if you're learning those cashier jobs and there's 50 cameras around you. What are you doing? Oh my God. You know, it's like, imagine you'd be like,
that's crazy. Yeah.
So I get it. I do. But it's like, again, you know, then stop fucking hiring rookies, loser. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. And if you're going to hire a rookie, hire fucking me because I'm not a rookie because I've been doing this for fucking 30 years. Making mock drafts and all this crazy stuff, you know? So it's like, it's just, you know, we're tired, man. We're beat up. Because, like, look, if this is the counterpoint to all that. Yes, we're difficult and we're impatient and all that. But what happens? We're 0-3 and we win one game. What happens? We start talking Super Bowl. We're the best. Like, the reason we're so goddamn miserable is because it's a direct response, man. Like, if you give us 10 wins, the stadium's packed. We're cheering. You know, come on.
Thanks.
We don't get it. We haven't got more than 7 wins in like 15 years, dude. Once.
Dude,
it's crazy.
It would be electric, dude, if we had a 700, you know, batting average 1 year, dude. It would be crazy. I mean, look at the Knicks, man. Like, the Garden is electric. You think MetLife wouldn't be, dude? They'd be just like that.
Like 100%, man. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Bean.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, and I'm gonna start getting
the only
Bean
time I've
out of
ever
here.
been to MetLife. The only time I've ever been to MetLife was 2010, Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. Brett Favre, Randy Moss, that got traded there and then traded away, but he was there that game up against Darrell Reeves. You know, great game. Ended up getting a lightning delay and stuff. None of us cared. Everybody got drunk while they were waiting, and it was a good time. But electric. I brought a friend of mine who's a Vikings fan. We're both in college. I said, I'm gonna get these tickets, man. We drove up to New York literally just for the night. Didn't even get a hotel. We're broke. We slept in a hotel parking lot in the car. I don't know how we got away with it. Whatever. Anyway, the stadium was absolutely electric. The Jets chants. My Vikings buddy was like, dude, I was ready to join you guys because it was just that infectious. Like, it was 80, 90,000 people just J-E-T-S.
And they've diluted that too. They've diluted that. They ruined it.
Yeah.
Why? It's the one thing we do. What the fuck is wrong with this team?
You know what, Green Bean? I don't even care because if we start winning again, if we're 10 or 12 wins a year, we'll figure it the fuck out.
We will, because we did it. You're right, dude. Let me tell you, my first 15 years or more as a fan, there was no cameras. There was no guy on the screen. We just did it. We did it with cowbells and whistles. That's how we did it. I was part of that shit. So it's I don't know, man, this team. But yeah, I mean, that was an exciting game, man. That was a good one to go to. The last time I saw a win in MetLife was 2015. And I go every year. It's crazy.
Wow.
Brutal.
Dude, I'm on the West Coast now, and like as soon as I move out here, we barely even cross the Mississippi. It's like, what the hell? Where's all these cross country trips, man? We've had them every year until I came out here.
We're going out west every year. We were complaining about it. Now we don't even cross. Right? It's great.
Nope.
It's funny. But Dano, that's the thing. It's being a Jets fan. They can figure out how to make all of our lives ridiculously miserable. Not even, it's just like all the like the nuances. They figure it out. I don't know how they do it. They're the best. They're the best, man. Very efficient.
You're right. We don't help it, I will say, but you're right. We just want to love this team and them to just play well. And it's like you might get one or the other.
Yeah. Dude, all we're asking is for a damn competitive team. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. It's not that hard. They're overcomplicating it, man. It's football. That's all it is. They're overcomplicating it. They suck.
Like
Bean.
Yeah.
Bean. I want to be conscious of your time, dude. Hopefully we entertained you a little bit. Maybe we'll have you back sometime, man.
Yeah, this was great, man. I'll come back. I'm taking a couple months off. This is the last show I'm doing for a while. But yeah, man, dude, anytime.
Yeah.
Like when we're rolling again in this season, anytime, dude. Like
yes,
really.
sir.
I mean, yeah.
Dude, I appreciate you, man. Enjoy your break. Get some sun, man.
I'm gonna shave my beard, I think.
No,
I think
man.
Tomorrow. I'm serious.
Dude, record
Yeah,
it, dude. That's content.
Yeah, I'll put that out. We'll see. I don't know. I'm nervous. I get nervous when I talk about it. I really want to, but I get nervous. I don't know. It's been since like about 2018. I haven't shaved it.
That's a long time, though.
Long time. I can shave it, man. You know. All right,
dude.
man,
This is 9 months, man. I don't know how you did 6 years.
Dude, you look beautiful. I want you to know that.
What are you gonna do whenever you're like fidgeting? Like you're not gonna be able to stroke your beard and
fucking grab my glasses all day. I'll still play with shit. I don't know, man. But it'll grow back in like about 8 hours. I think it takes.
Yeah, true. Hey, Bean. We'll plug you after you go. We'll catch you. Yeah. We'll catch you, man.
All
right.
Right on. Hey, later, everybody. This was great, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Have a good night.
Right, later. What a guy. Hey, guys, down below in the description, you all know Green Bean, but check it, because not only do I have his YouTube, but I have his Twitter account as well. Some of you may not be following him there, so I demand that you go create a Twitter account and just follow him for me right now. Oh, no, maybe in a couple hours, actually. Murph, dude, I don't know what's going on. I definitely had some lag during that, so I'm sorry if I tripped on you a couple times. But talk to me. Was there anything that he said that struck you or that you wanted to add on to? I'm going to refresh real quick. Can you buy me 30 seconds?
Of course. Yeah. I don't know, man. Green Bean, there's a reason he's been doing this for that long, and he's, been successful. What a guy. He was spitting facts all night. The Corley thing, just completely just erasing him after he made that mistake. I've been preaching that, man. You can't do that. You cannot do that. And I just hope that they didn't ruin that young man's confidence last year. I just hope and pray that they're going to they're going to just treat him like Green Bean said earlier, like they're going to treat him like a rookie, and try to develop him as if they just drafted him, right? Because I know that's what Aaron Glenn has been about this whole time. Aaron Glenn has said, hey, we're going to coach these players. So I hope that they coach Corley and they give him a chance. Like, you can't just give the guy one snap every 3 games. You can't do that. Like, you got to give him a chance. Let him prove himself or disprove himself. You know, what one way or the other, he's going to do it. He's going to either prove himself or disprove himself. Give him a chance to do it. Otherwise, what's the point of having him on the team? And that goes with a lot of the guys, you know. Um, don't force snaps to Michael Clemens and Xavier Gibson and stuff like that because they haven't proven anything yet. You know, like there's just no point in doing that. So these guys that you've drafted or you know you've picked up at UDFA or wherever you were, if you were high enough on them to bring them onto the team, give them a shot. Because if the guys that are in there that are getting snaps aren't doing anything with them, then why bother? Like this is a year for development. So I want to see these young guys do it. Like I want to see them out there on the field. I want to see them learning, making plays, building their confidence, whatever it is. Because God knows we need a couple guys to hit, guys that we weren't expecting to hit, right? Like we're expecting our number 7 overall pick right tackle to be a stud. We're expecting that, and I hope to God that he is. I think he will be, but I'm gonna need one of these UDFA's or a guy that everybody's been really down on, Arian Smith. I need one of these guys to hit because we need it. You know, if we're going to want to compete next year, if we're going to draft a quarterback and probably start him right off the bat, because that's what we always do, then we need to have the team ready. So we need a couple of those guys to build some confidence this year and be ready for next year.
You know what? I agree wholeheartedly, man. Corley, add him to this rookie class. I am all for it. Honestly, I think you should probably treat Olu the same, because we don't really, like, a lot of us don't realize he didn't even start half the season. Some of it was on the right, you know, like just start from scratch, man. Start from scratch. Keith Carter's gone. Like, just start over. Bookends at the same pace. Bring them up together. We got nothing out of last year's class. We got more out of last year's class on day 3 than days 1 and 2. Yeah, Olu did provide a benefit because he got Tyron Smith off the field. But actually, he didn't. It took an injury to do that, but he should have. He should have. But hey, extinguish the guilt. I love that handle. I saw he is our newest subscriber. So, dude, welcome to the channel, man. I have a feeling there's a story behind that handle. We'll have to hear one day. But in the chat, I did drop the link, man. If you want, call in. Give us your take on what GreenBean said. Let me ask you this though, like, we had a lot to cover with him. I mean, we were talking the last 6 months pretty much. Was there anything that you felt strongly against what he said?
I don't know. He was spitting facts all night.
And it's okay if not.
Hard to go against a guy like GreenBean. I'm trying to think. One thing I can think of that I disagreed with on the spot, but it's not really a super like a big thing, was I did agree with the fact that I wanted experience in here. Whenever we were looking at a head coach and stuff like that. And you know, and he said, well, if we're not going to get experience, then I want Aaron Glenn. I was not of that mindset. I like Aaron Glenn. I liked him as a coaching prospect and things like that. But you know, I was talking about it all offseason. I wanted an offensive-minded guy in here. So he was not my first choice as a first-time head coach. You know,
fair.
But that's really the only thing I can think of that I was like, at the time, I was like, I don't really agree with that. But that's all in the past anyway. We got Aaron Glenn now, and we're going to roll.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think it would have been hard to recruit one. Like, if you are an offensive-minded head coach coming up through the ranks, if it's me, I'm toying with going back and being an OC another year before I'm thinking about bringing my offense to this team. I don't know, man. Call me cynical, but I feel like you'd have more than one or two things working against you, trying to blossom here as an offensive-minded guy. But what I will say is that like most people who have followed this team for decades, like us, like him, and also think logically and rationally, like us, like him, I feel like most of his takes were hitting home to me. Like, damn, like there might be a few things here and there, like the Rogers thing. I mean, I did want him back. Don't get me wrong, but like, I wasn't dying either. Like either way, I don't know. All I'm saying is like, I'd have a beer with that guy, and I think we would hit it off. I don't think there'd be too many controversial hot take like arguments between us, and I think the same with him and you, and like it just you're around this team enough, you know, to soften yourself to certain things and be keen on other things. One thing I think we're all in a mindset of is we're not expecting to be 10, we're not expecting to end this drought or else this year. Would you agree
Yeah.
with that?
That's when things landed the way that they did last year, and we fired Robert Sala and we fired Joe Douglas. And you touched on this earlier. As soon as they did that, I said, "Well, we're not competing next year." You know, because you knew that there was going to be a rebuild or a coasting year or a tanking year, whatever you want to label it. All of those mean the same thing, and they mean no playoffs. You know, um, as far as I'm concerned, like you, if you're changing that much, you're very rarely the first year going to hit off, right? We've seen it happen a couple times, like Todd Bowles, like his first year, we didn't make the playoffs, but we went 10-7 or 10-6, whatever. I think it was 10-6 at the time. Um, which, by the way, how often do you win 10 games and not go to the playoffs? Whatever. Yeah, but they spent a ton of money that year. Like they brought Revis back, Crow back. They did the whole thing. You know what I mean? They spent a ton of money that year to do that, and it lasted for 1 year.
Yeah.
That's what happens whenever you throw a bunch of money at it. But if we're doing it the long term way, obviously, and most teams do that. Most new coaching regimes do that. So yeah, we're not going to compete this year. I mean, maybe we'll compete in the games and we'll be a feisty team. I hope so. But I'm not expecting playoffs. Come on.
Well, and that's the thing. Like as time progresses, we start losing certain facts of the matter. And like one thing I do want to hammer home for the chat, like we could have kept Rodgers and Devontae and probably ended the drought this year. The odds that we won it all would have been slim. But then if you keep Rodgers, like $40 million dead bleeds into 2027. Like, you're pushing money into the middle of Garrett's contract and the middle of Sauce's contract and the middle, like, you're affecting the next window just to end the drought one time. And that's where I'm like, okay, the drought sucks. It does. But I would rather it hit 15 years and be done with it and get the dead winding down than to end it and then turn and it's like I want to get all my core together. Oh, there's 40 million dead. There, I got to cut one of my core guys just because because we used Rodgers one time to end the drought. Stupid. So like it was the adult decision. Like, yes, I wanted Rodgers back. Would have made for a way better 2025. But I'm looking at the second half of the decade. I'm not looking at 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at that point, you kind of have to. I just, like I said, it's the timing that bothers me about everything. Like, because I don't know if we're going to be patient enough. Like, to sit a quarterback for a year. And then if we don't sit a quarterback for a year, I don't know that he's going to succeed. Like, I feel like if you're the New York Jets, like I'm just talking about the New York Jets, no other team, because some teams are lucky, whatever. I mean, you have the Broncos last year that hit off with uh, their Oregon quarterback. Name's escaping me, doesn't matter. Um, you have teams that do it, but as the New York Jets, we're not that freaking lucky, and I feel like we need to do everything we can to try to develop a young quarterback. And he needs to sit for a year. And I just don't know their fan base is patient enough if we draft one this coming draft. So it bothers me.
See, so lately, like I used to be addicted to watching YouTube like damn near all hours of the day and shit. And then I realized like watching a 2 hour stream, listening to one or two like knowledgeable people, I'm really not learning much. So like I started diversifying my intake, and I found like other avenues where I can hear like 8 to 10 people that all know their shit. So I've been doing that, and like, dude, the talk I've been hearing is like Fields is going to be just good enough to screw us pretty much. And we shouldn't have taken him. We really should have tanked right. Or we're going to have to be okay for picking in the teens next year. And like, this is just same old Jets. Taking a guy like Fields, and we're going to use him just the way he needs to be used in order to get to 8 to 10 to 12, you know, that cushion where you're in no man's land basically. Let me ask you, with that being said, is that something that worries you? Are you saying fuck them picks, like, and not in the traditional way, but like in our draft slot next year? Like, are you fuck that? Seriously, fuck that. But like, do you think Fields will do more harm to us than he will do good for us?
Fields is the ultimate wild card. I don't think there's any denial. On this entire team, he is the ultimate wild card right now because the kid is talented. Like he was right up there with the top quarterbacks in that draft. A lot of people, including myself, liked him a lot. Was totally fine with us drafting him, you know. And we ended up with Zach Wilson, which to me, I was like, either or. I was like maybe leaning towards Zach, but liked both guys. Kid is supremely talented, and he's flashed. He has flashed in the NFL, which is something that Zach. What we have maybe one good game out of Zach against Houston. Was that it? Like I don't know, man. Half a game against Philadelphia in that first half. Like I don't know. There was not a lot of flashing out of Zach, but Fields has shown it a few times, and for stretches of time too. But consistently he hasn't done it. And you look at the statistics, you look at the PFF and things like that, and you're like, I don't know, man. So to me, he's a big wild card, and he could be a dude that takes off and has a good year. I don't expect him to have like a MVP caliber year, Johnny, but he could have a good year, and he could mess around and get us 9 wins or something. And then you're looking at like, shit, we're picking like 15th in the draft, or something, and it's like it's going to cost an arm and a leg just to get up to like 3 to get a quarterback, to get one of your top 2 or 3 guys. Uh, and
Precisely.
it could, like you said, it could put you in no man's land. But he could also suck big time too, and we could be picking second overall without even having to trade. But I will say that if we're picking 13, 14, 15, give it all up. Do whatever you got to do, man, to get up to where you need to get your guy. This is going to probably be next year's draft. It's probably going to be one of the drafts where it's like, man, there was like 5 guys in the top 15, 12 picks or something like that were quarterbacks, because there's a lot of talent, man, a lot of talent coming in this year. So you got to get your guy. So I don't know whether Fields ends up fucking around and getting us 9 wins and screwing us or not. You can look at the positives of that and be like, hey, well, team's feisty. They've gotten a taste of winning, you know. So you can look at the positives of that, but I can't give you a direct answer because I think he's the ultimate wild card. He could go either way.
You know what? And honestly, I think that context obviously is king. I would say the people that I spoke about that put this notion in my head, I think they can be right if you get to 9 wins using Fields the athlete. I think that would be harmful to us. If you get to 9 wins using Fields the passer, the quarterback, and he's, you know what I mean? Like, that 9 wins means way more to me than getting to 9 wins because Fields rushed for 1,200 yards again. Because, yes, he's done that before. That's not going to do anything for me. Is his rushing going to be key for us in spots? Yes, but be carrying us to no man's land. He should be blossoming, then, you got a 500. You get to 500 as a passer. That's a good acquisition. Does that make sense?
That's a good point. No, that's honestly a good point. Because Fields is showing you something if he gets you 9 wins as a passer, mainly. You know what I mean? But if he does this rushing thing, like I don't think that I don't think that that's sustainable. If that makes any sense, like he's not Lamar Jackson. Like he's just not like. But if he's shown it as a passer, then he could become like a Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? If he shows us some consistency and he builds some confidence as a passer and he's slinging all over the field, and then we also add in the fact that hey, he can take off at any point. That's when like, hey, we might have something here, and we might have to give this guy another contract. But I don't know. I got to see it out of him. If he does give it to us as a passer, then we have a whole different talking point going on. Because then it's like, do we even bother drafting a quarterback?
We will. Well, you know what? We will, dude. That's like 10 shows worth of content. We will get to.
Yeah.
Honestly, my initial inclination is to say yes, you do, because we've been looking for one for half a century. And yeah, I want, well, let's draft and develop, man, because if anything, you're going to make our QB coach better by having 2 different styles in the room and 2 different minds in the room. Yeah, you do. But then you have the question of, do you do it in the top 10? Do you do it in the 3rd round? Like there, I'll entertain that. But you have to still draft, in my opinion. I don't care if he's 4,000 yards. Like, I don't trust anything staying for us for long. Anyways, Murph, we do have the call-in line pinned. Do you need a minute while I take a guest or two?
Yep. Give me like 10 and I'll be back.
You got it, boss. You got it, boss. Again, said the call-in line is pinned. Also have someone getting ready in the green room. Let me give them 1 second to warm up their vocals. Maybe gargle some salt water while I refer to a picture that just crossed the airwaves here. Let me bring this up for you guys. I want to show you a little visual stimuli. This is a first-hand look at Madison Square Garden. Look at that score. But also, look down below that score. Sauce Gardner in the house with his woman, Ice Spice. Icy sauce, saucy ice, sauce spice. I don't know. You can make all kind of boyfriend, girlfriend nicknames, but I think whatever you dream up won't be as bad as someone else's nickname. Division rival has a nickname of Mr. Steinfeld. That's pretty bad. Mr. Steinfeld. Man, he's standing in front of our hopes and dreams, so I can't dog him too much. But anyways, Sauce Gardner, Ice Spice in the house as we witness the Knicks stomp the defending champion Boston Celtics. Sure looks like the Knicks are headed to the conference finals, baby. Yeah. Anyways, that's enough b-ball talk. There I am. There you are. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're here on Friday nights live. Little bits of news and nuggets throughout the week, but Friday nights live with Murph in the Danger Zone. All right, without further ado, let me go to this guy who's all done with the salt water. See how his singing voice is. The one, the only, Charles Gorman. What's up, dude?
Watching the Knicks game, they're killing them right now, 112-81. Sorry about your match. We kicked your ass tonight.
Yeah, yes you did, man. What was the final?
6-2. Lindor went 1 for 5 with an RBI double.
1 for 5. Yeah. Who scored? Like who dominated for the Yanks?
Well, Carlos Rodon got the W. Bellinger went 3 for 5.
Ooh.
Judge went 2 for 4 with a home run.
Nah.
Goldschmidt went 2 for 4. I mean, some of the Yankees' big bats came to play, like Judge and Goldschmidt. You know, it wasn't too often scoring. I mean, I didn't really watch the game. I was playing some Madden right now, and like a jackass, I deleted one of my recent save files, so I'm doing Madden franchise one again, but this time with the fantasy draft.
Okay. Fresh roster, huh?
Yes. So I know GreenBean was on here earlier today, and I know he expected the Jets to win at least 7 to 8 games. Listen, I'm probably more optimistic. I expect this team to win at least 10 to 11 games. I mean, I agree with Quincy Enunwa. This team's got the talent to be successful. The X factor is going to be the coaching. I know the coaching has yet to coach an official NFL game with the Jets so far, not counting preseason because I'm sick and tired. You know, for once, I could be okay with the Jets sucking in the preseason, not winning a game in the preseason, but winning during the regular season.
Yeah, it's all about the regular season. Let me ask you, if you do think that you could see 10 to 11 wins, what kind of who is really carrying the load for this team to win that many games?
Well, I don't think it's going to be a one-man show. I mean, I do think I'm actually going to do 2 New York Jet videos tomorrow. One's going to be about 5 players that I think are going to break out this upcoming season, and one's going to be about the offensive line. And I know I've talked about the offensive line before. I've talked about it a lot, and for good reason. I care about the trench. I care about my quarterbacks being protected. I care about my running backs getting their holes. No diddy. I care about my quarterback getting time to throw the damn ball. I care about my running backs getting holes open for them to go through. No diddy. I care about all these players having success in the trenches. I care about these guys winning their battles. I care about the trenches being won, because that's how war is won, motherfucker. Next win, yabba dabba do. Anyways, that's over with.
Okay. Do you think Sauce has a good year playing man coverage?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is a guy that went all pro his first 2 years. This is a guy that won Defensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, just because of, what, I know he's dating what? Ice, Ice, whatever the hell,
rap stars.
Everything Nice, whatever the hell her name is. She's a cutie, but, he's entitled to, have a good personal life.
Cutie
and what I like
patootie.
about him is that what I like about him is that he was willing to work with Aaron Glenn, who's one of probably the second best cover corner in Jets franchise history behind Darrelle Revis. I mean, it's a smart move. Plus, the Jets brought in Brandon Stevens, who hopefully has a rebound year because he did have a pretty decent career in Baltimore before last year. Andre Sisco's a talented safety. He had a pretty decent career in Jacksonville prior to last year. So, Michael Carter, we love Michael Carter, right? Second, one of the better slot corners in football. And, last year was a bit of a down year for him, but a lot of that had to do with coaching.
A lot of back problems, too.
Oh, back problem. I forgot about that. Yeah. Hey, Daniel Murphy, what's up, baby?
What's up, buddy? How you?
Good, man. I'm doing great. I feel energized and pumped.
You got a haircut, Charles?
Yes, I did. I got a haircut today. I went to one of my local barber stores, not barber shops, Eclipse Salon Eclipse in Islam.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Looking clean.
Well, I'm going to shave my facial hair tomorrow. But yeah, my hair looks clean, definitely. Listen. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. The X factor for this team is going to be well, Dina, I get what you're saying, buddy, but I think he definitely needs to he definitely needs to do a better job catching interceptions. But he does a good job swatting down balls. No, did he? He does a good job in man coverage. He needs to do a better job in tackling. Because when it came to tackling cornerback, we had Darrelle Revis, and we were spoiled with that for a very long time. And, look, Deion Sanders in the Hall of Fame, and people shit on him for being a poor tackler, right? People regard Deion Sanders as one of the all-time great football players. Yet people say, oh, he sucked at tackling. Yet he's in the Hall of Fame. So it sort of ends up being like a Deion Sanders type player. No offense to Deion. Then, hey, if it gets into the Hall of Fame, it gets into the Hall of Fame. But the players I really expect to carry this team load is the offense. I'm not saying our defense is going to suck, but back in 2015, I had a feeling we were going to be good on defense because we brought Revis back, we brought Cromartie back, we brought Gilchrist back. We brought some good players with us, and of course some old faces. Plus, Todd Bowles was a real solid defensive coordinator with the Cardinals for a while. But if you go back to 2015, what made me happier that year was how good we were on offense. Now, some people say, what do you mean how good we were on offense? We put up 387 total points in 2015. Now, of course, back then it was a 16-game schedule. But if you do the math, which I know is going to be really hard for some people, we averaged 24 points per game in 2015. Averaging 24 points per game, I don't know about y'all, but that's pretty damn solid. Look, not every offense is going to be the 2013 Broncos, the 80s, the Dan Marino-led Dolphins, or the Greatest Show on Turf or anything like that. But if your offense is averaging at least 24 to 25 points per game, you're in good hands. Last year, don't compare those two at this point. What do you mean, Scott Foster?
I guess that old year versus this year, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not saying we're going to be the 2015 Jets, but what I'm saying is that I'm not trying to compare, Scott. I get what you're saying, buddy, but I'm not trying to compare. What I'm saying is 2015 was the last year we had success on offense. We had two 1,000-yard receivers. We had a 1,000-yard rusher. We had a quarterback throwing for over 30 touchdown passes for the first time in franchise history. We had an offensive line that allowed less than 30 sacks. We had a good offensive line in 2015. And if we can somehow, with this roster, do that, look, I understand we don't have Brandon. We do have Garrett Wilson, who's amazing. Josh Reynolds is, a respectable player. Alan Lazard is Alan Lazard. Let me put it to you like that. Mason Taylor could be another Justin Keller. Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis are good running backs. So that's a plus right there. I know a lot of Jet fans aren't crazy about him, but we still got Jeremy Ruckert. And there's still free agents out there that we could. We could get Keenan Allen, who I would love to have on the Jets. We could get son
Charles,
of a yes.
you are very optimistic about this team, and that's your take. That you're entitled to that. But if I asked you today to cut to two New York Jets before Week 1,
Michael
you have to
Clemens and Allen
cut.
Lazard.
Okay.
Clemens is an
He had
idiot.
that at the hip, ready to draw that right off the bat.
I'm quick throw McGraw, motherfucker.
That's right. That's right.
Alan Lazard, get your ass out. We're no longer a part of Rodgers.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, that
exactly.
team, man. We
Decker
blasted them
was good.
with Ivory Decker. Yeah,
You
we
said
got 'em.
Becker. You almost went like with Joe Theismann when he called Danny Woodhead Danny Woodcock. Remember that shit?
Yes, I do.
That was funny as hell. The entire crew. I can't believe he said that on camera, and everyone just died hysterical laughing. The video is still on YouTube. It is freaking hilarious. But Decker was a good. I know we sucked in 2014, but the fact that and especially the ones that most people respect, were shitting on the Jets for getting Eric Decker, I'm like, he's a good player. Like, we were dead last in passing in 2014, yet he nearly racked up 1,000 receiving yards.
Technical
Muldine's
difficulties.
being an
Sorry.
idiot.
Okay.
Cut Brees and
Team
Fields. We're not
MVP.
cutting Brees.
Who's the
MVP?
offensive? Well, no. Let's do offensive and defensive.
Defensive MVP, I am going to go with Jamie Sherwood.
Ooh,
I love what he did with the team. Well, he was the team MVP last year, I thought. He led the entire National Football League with 98 solo tackles. 98 solo tackles. He was a machine last year. So that's my defensive MVP for the Jets. As for offensive MVP, I'm going to give it to Brees. I think Brees is poised to show the world why he was drafted so high in the second round, why people regard him as one of the best backs coming out of Iowa State, why he was so electrifying in 2023, even though our offensive line was dog shit and Nathaniel Hackett was how should I say this, a hack of an offensive coordinator. So he racked up over 1,500 streaming yards in 2023. And
Yeah, but
somehow didn't get any consideration.
I used one of my two cuts to cut him. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
You're trading them, dude. Remember?
Yeah. I'm trading it. Nah, you know what? If I would have liked to do it before the draft, I'll tell you that. But now I guess let's just wait and see how he is until Halloween, dude. He might, like you said, be the offensive MVP. He might.
For the team, correct? Not for the NFL. For the team. For the team.
No. For the team.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for the team. But hopefully we get a good kicker. Do we still have Anders Carlson? He wasn't too bad for us last year.
We do. We also have a UDFA kicker as well. So hey, competition will bring out the best guy.
Hopefully we don't have a screw up like we did from 2021 where we didn't have a freaking kicker for shit.
Or 2024.
Yeah, where Greg Zerline was hurt and all this crazy shit happened.
Yeah. Well, you have any questions for him, Murph?
Nah, man, I got no questions for you guys. I'm just really excited for the season a little bit. I know they have yet to coach an official game, but the way Aaron Glenn's demeanor, I know he has to prove himself, and I understand that. But I like his demeanor more. I think he has his business before pleasure mentality, which I felt was lacking in the last regime immensely. and I like that. I could tell he learned a lot from the legend Bill Parcells and the current legend and Sean Payton, and even the legend right now in Detroit and Dan Campbell. So, besides, people forget that Aaron Glenn wasn't the only coach that used to play in the NFL. Sean Payton used to play in the NFL. Dan Campbell used to play in the NFL. He weren't exactly Hall of Fame players either, and yet they proved to be pretty damn good coaches.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Aaron Glenn's going to be that guaranteed, but considering that he worked for both of those men and that he too used to play in the NFL, his chances of being a successful coach are pretty high, but also pretty high in failure as well. There's that as well.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Do you think you think Aaron Glenn, because his time with Dan Campbell in Detroit, do you think we're going to keep Michael Clemens around just for biting kneecaps? That
No.
seems to be an important way to build a good team, biting kneecaps.
Michael Clemens might trip a kneecap, never mind biting it. Might stare at a dude wrong, be like, what the fuck's wrong with you, boy? Michael Clemens is talented, but he's an idiot. He lacks football IQ.
Yeah.
You judge a player not by their talent, but by their football intelligence. And Michael Clemens,
if he makes the cut, it's only going to take one more dumb football play for him to have his ass right on the bench.
Or have his ass sitting out on the bench, not only on the bench, but on the sidewalk, waiting for the bus to come by.
He'll be using Lucille as a walking stick to get back home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of time to go, obviously, before full-on predictions. Are you looking forward to training camp and all the competition that will bring?
Of course I am. I'm definitely looking for people who don't understand how important training camp is. We get to see how the coaches are. We get to see how the players are. We need to see that. We need to see open competition. We need to see players busting their ass off. We need to see players busting every blood, sweat, and tear. Because let me tell you something. Just because you're being paid millions and billions of dollars doesn't mean you're getting your job for nothing. I mean, I'm sorry, that worded it wrong. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot on the team. You agreed to sign, but doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot on the team. You got to bust your ass off, man.
If we're going to win 11 games, 10 games, possibly, which player do you think has to rise above what they've already done? Like, who do we need the most to overachieve? One guy.
That's tough. I'm going to say Quinnen, and let me explain why. I like Quinnen. He was all pro in 2022 and 2023. But to some people feel he is not that good. You know what I'm saying? People know he's good, but he's not like, 2022, a lot of his sacks came against backup quarterbacks. Doesn't matter. You still need the pressure and sack the shit out of the quarterback. Which I'm not saying is an excuse, but it's the truth. In 2022, he recorded 12 sacks. But let's not forget in 2020, when Adam Gase, he had 7 or 8 sacks his second year, and he showed flashes of being a really good player on that team as well. Even though we sucked, he showed flashes of being pretty damn good. So Quinnen Williams obviously needs to be like, I think he needs to sit down and have a talk with Aaron Donald and be like, yo, bro, can you give me some advice? How to be that dude like you were with the Rams?
Every night.
I know Aaron Donald's retired, but he can go ask him for advice. Look what Derrick Henry, one of the greatest running backs in modern NFL history, is doing with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. He's training with them. He's working out with them. He's training with them. And he's probably giving us some solid advice.
Yeah.
If there's one dude I want Braylon Allen to be like learning some shit from, that's Derrick Henry. Like,
Derrick Henry's a beast.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't the leading rusher last year, I know this is going to sound a bit odd, but I think the most electrifying running back in the NFL right now is Saquon Barkley, but the best running back is Derrick Henry.
There's an argument to be made there, yeah.
Derrick Henry got a little bump in his wallet too.
And deserved it because he had a tremendous season for the Ravens. Even
Yes,
though
he
I
did.
think he could have been rushed for 2,000 yards for the second time in his career if there were times where the Ravens kept him on the field.
Yeah. But at least they didn't give him the Saquon treatment where like you steal 10 touchdowns off of him because of the tush push.
Oh, absolutely. You know that tush push. I mean, I know Jalen Hurts has been. I know it's successful. Has been successful for them, but give the ball to your damn running back. I mean, do a QB sneak. As much as we hated Tom Brady, he was so good with the QB sneaks. Just go just do that because the tush push could get somebody killed.
Yeah. Well, or at least wait till like third down. I'm pretty sure Saquon, dude, he would have had 20 touchdowns this year. And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him set records, man.
Let me tell you something. If I'm the Eagles, I'd be like, look, bro, there's this touchdown record set by a guy named LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006 that has not been touched. We need to break this shit. Fuck the tush push.
Hey, they won a Super Bowl, so whatever they're doing must be doing it right. You know, I don't think they're worried about record.
They didn't just win a Super Bowl; they destroyed the Super Bowl. Not in a bad way, but they destroyed the Chiefs. They whooped that ass.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see.
But
We'll see if we can repeat that. We need our defense to play like they did in the Super Bowl. Like we need that all year. Because that defense is really what won them that game.
Well, Jalen Hurts played well in that game too, but I know people. It's kind of unfortunately the NFL favors the quarterback too much, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it was I was happy that Jalen Hurts won. I was happy Saquon won it. The defense wrecked shop. And then what's funny? Bryce Hoff didn't do much for the Eagles, and yet he still came away as a champion.
Who is your champion 9 months from now?
9 months from now? Oh, shit. Well, fuck me.
It's
I mean,
tough.
Cincinnati, if they get their defense back what it used to be, if their offensive line, look, I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan. I think Joe Burrow is special.
Yeah.
He needs like more consistent play from his offensive line. The defense took a step back compared to recent years. I know Trey Hendrickson, who's been an amazing player for the Bengals since he's been there, is negotiating a contract right now. Modine says Bills Super Bowl. You got to get past Mahomes, bub. You don't get past Mahomes, and you ain't win no damn Super Bowl. Especially Joe Burrow. Because Joe Burrow beat your ass once in the playoffs. I'm not talking shit. I'm just stating facts.
It's true.
So who's your final answer?
For now, if there was another quarterback other than Jalen Hurts that I think could deliver their team a championship, I'm going to say Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Does he have enough around him?
Offensively, fuck yeah. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins and shit.
But
the defense got to get back to what they used to be because in 2021 and 2022, their defense was solid. And they need to get more consistent play from the offensive line. Orlando Brown hasn't been as good as he was with the Chiefs and the Ravens. We'll see what the hell happens. You know, Joe Burrow is the number one reason why Zach Taylor still has a job in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. They need to make sure they lock up Trey Hendrickson, because right now he's talking about holding out and stuff like that. They need him back because he's about the only thing they got on their defense. It feels like.
I'm not the type of guy that likes to talk shit, Scott, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, he means preach.
Yeah, right now, Joe Burrow. I still can't believe that in 2021 he led the Bengals to a Super Bowl appearance and lost to Aaron Donald and the Rams by 3 points with a shitty offensive line. That's how special he is, man.
Let me hit you with some current events. First, I want to ask you what you thought of Morstead and Zerline being cut, but then I want to ask you what you thought of the Purdy contract. So go ahead, man.
I think Purdy's a good player. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks the 49ers have had in recent memory. And he's been productive. Unfortunately, the defense took a major step back last year. So that prevented them from kind of getting back into the Super Bowl mix. Let's see. Greg Zuerlein, you were good for a couple of years and you disappointed last year, so retire. Nothing against you. You're a good guy. You were a good player for a majority of your career, but it's time to move on. As for Thomas Morstead, I was very surprised, but then again, maybe the Jets want to go younger. As Thomas Morstead, as far as I'm concerned, is a hell of a punter. And has been a hell of a punter for a very long time since he was with the Saints. And he's been a great punter a long time, so maybe they want to go younger.
Would you have given Purdy $53 million a year? Would you have played hardball with him? Would you have shopped him?
I wouldn't mind giving
maybe
him $53 million a year. I mean, the guy's been extremely productive. I mean, look, people say, "Oh, people overuse the fucking term game manager." Stop it. The guy's a very good, accurate passer. He's very precise. He's kind of reminds me a little bit of Drew Brees in the sense of how articulate, precise, and accurate with his passes. And he gives the ball very well to his playmakers. Plus, let's not forget how well he did his rookie year, taking over for an injured Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. In his rookie year, his first fucking game as a starter, he went up against Tom Brady, and even though he didn't do much, even though he did well statistically, he didn't dominate statistically, but his team destroyed Brady and the Bucs. And then he led the team to their first NFC Championship game appearance since their Super Bowl appearance in 2019. They got smacked around by the Eagles. Then 2023, they made it to the Super Bowl. And he really didn't play that bad in the Super Bowl. So this was the guy in 2022 who was Mr. Irrelevant. And
talk about overachieving, damn.
He pressed the hell out of me.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made, and we were actually discussing this earlier with our good buddy Scott Foster. The team was loaded, right? And last year they took a dip, with their talent and stuff like that, and they weren't as successful. But wouldn't we die to have a quarterback like Brock Purdy? You know what I mean? After all that we've seen as Jet fans, we would kill to have that.
I would burn myself to have a guy like Scott Purdy. Brock Purdy. If they say Scott Purdy, I meant Brock Purdy, my bad. I would literally light myself on fire.
Well, we want you to.
My mother's like, "You literally would?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm just being figurative. I'm jokingly being figurative here."
Yeah.
But Brock Purdy's a good player. Would I put him in the same class as Allen or Hurts or Jackson or Mahomes, even though his stats hasn't been as dominant as he was early on in his career? No, but he's a good player. And
just to notice, the Danger Zone does not condone self-harm. Go ahead, Charles.
Yes, we do not condone self-harm. Don't try that at home, kids. But we Brock Purdy's a good player. And, do I think he could become a great player? Absolutely. But look, we need not all players are going to be great in the NFL. Some can have
Right.
great careers being good players.
See,
So
my thing with Purdy though, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but like I feel like his value was the past couple years when you only had a seventh round pick invested in him. That was your window. Now you're paying him $53 million. He's going to have to be 5 times better. Am I wrong?
100% correct. I mean, but the thing is, I don't think he's one of those guys. I know I don't know him personally, but from what I can tell because of his body of work, he worked his ass off. He trained hard. He worked hard. And Mom, please stop. I love you. But what I'm saying is that he definitely has to put the work in. But I believe in him because of what I saw in his first 2 seasons, I can tell this guy busted his butt to get where he's at. He didn't take it for granted. I can tell that his parents, similar to mine, raised him to be a hard worker and to be devoted to your craft. And this guy looks like he's devoted to his craft. Like, if you want to be considered to be one of the better, if not one of the best quarterbacks in football, you got to bust your ass. And I do agree that he needs to, obviously, now that he's being paid like he's a first round pick, that he needs to step up his game. And that's 100% true. First of all, no matter how much you're being paid, you always need to step up your game because in sports it's a dog eat dog world. You are there to win. You are not always there to. I mean, when you're playing a game, a competitive game, a super competitive game like NFL football, you could be friends after the game, but during the game you're like, "Fuck it, we're enemies."
I'm with you. I don't. I have my reservations on whether he can be as valuable to them as he was before the new deal. But honestly, I think they're in a kind of a bad spot. Like they're in no man's land. I kind of thought they should have parted with McCaffrey and got what they could. Now they're trying to still be all in, but their books are getting worse. Like they're gonna be hitting a crossroads if they aren't there already.
Plus, they traded Debo Samuel to the Washington.
They were 1-5 in their division last year. Like, I don't know, man.
I understand where you're coming from, but we'll see. We'll see, man. Anyways, it's great talk with you, gentlemen. Stay safe and God bless and go next.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, Charles. Be safe. Stay away from matches.
Yeah, we do not condone self, you know, burning. No, no infernal desire let loose on this show. Okay? Speaking of burning,
shit.
so, congratulations. I am not, I've stated this before, I am not necessarily a Knicks fan or any team fan in the NBA, but I hate any team that is associated in the New England area. That includes Boston. So go Knicks. Let's go. You guys fucking killed it. They beat them by like 30, 40 points. Like, my God, they came out with a point to prove, and they proved it.
They did, especially after getting mollywopped themselves a couple times. They ended at home on their court in front of those overpaying fans against the defending champs. Yeah, without Tatum, but like I think if Tatum's there, they go 7 and they win. Because honestly, I'll take Brunson with his back against the wall against anybody. It would have been one to see, but we didn't get that. So they're moving on. They're playing the Pacers, who knocked them out last year.
Ooh.
So
Hopefully the Pacers are not their kryptonite.
it's gonna be tough, man.
If
they do have they have home court advantage though, which helps.
Yeah. Well, you got to capitalize on it though. That's the thing. You know, you go
Yep.
0-1 first. Yeah, you don't want that. But yeah, I guess I'm rooting for him. You know, because fuck the Pacers. Who cares about them?
Well, and like we've been so starved to have a fun team to watch. They're if they're anything, they're a fun team to watch. So like it's a good reprieve when we don't have anything for 2 months, man. Like the schedule dropped. It's maybe we'll get an extension, but like, what are you gonna just wait around for that? Come on, you gotta do something. And baseball, as much as I do like watching the Mets, it's far too early to get really invested. You know.
Brunson
Let me
is
ask.
a fun character to follow. Like he's a good dude. You know, like I don't know, he's a fun player to watch. So I can definitely understand the appeal.
Hell yeah, they got a good podcast too. So check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, I'll get
It's just
right.
cool too. Like you got teammates that were on, went to college together and shit, all on the same team. Like there's such a backstory there. But what did you have anything that? Well, I mean, we talked about the Purdy deal. Final answer: would you have drafted that contract and slid it to him today?
Yeah, yeah, I probably would have. It's so hard to find a good quarterback, dude. They were looking for how long? You know, they dealt with the Jimmy Garoppolo years and stuff like that, and like he performed okay, but he was never, you know, I mean, my God, watching him in the playoffs was like nails on a chalkboard. It was bad. Um, at least Purdy has shown that he performs in the playoffs. You know, um, our good buddy Scott will argue that inclement weather and this and that. I don't know. A lot of quarterbacks will struggle in that. So I don't know. I think he's the best option they had. So might as well stick with him for at least another 3 or 4 years. And if you don't think he's ever going to be able to get you over the hump, then maybe next time just let him roll or trade him. You know. But as of right now, I think it was the move to make.
Well, it's like we all want the guy with top five upside, right? Everybody does when they're setting out for one. But like when you already have a 10th to 15th guy, on his best day, he's like eighth guy. On his worst day, he's like 20. And, in that mix, to come off that and go back to the well and have no idea. Like if they had someone in queue, different. I don't think they do. Obviously, that might help a little bit, but like to go back to the well with not extra first round picks. They didn't part with McCaffrey. They don't have a bounty there. They don't, I don't know what they got out of Debo or whoever, but like I told you guys earlier, if you could give him like a 3-year deal and maybe sweeten it, that would be alpha 1A option for me. Give him 3 for 180. That's Dak money, top of the market, but it's only 3 years. You're overpaying him, but you're getting out of years 4 and 5, or you get that body of work to further evaluate it. But like nowadays, you're not even seeing 3-year deals. Like you're paying a guy 5-year deal, or you're not keeping him. That's it. Like, so you get shit or get off the pot. We've been back to the well. We've been stuck in the well, yelling for help from the bottom. And there's no quarterbacks down here, man. And yeah, we're trying to claw our way out, but we got bloody ass knuckles and fingernails, man.
Yeah, I mean, somebody threw the corpse of Aaron Rodgers down the well, and we're like, "Hey!" and it, we tried to do something with that. It didn't work.
It just started rotting, man.
Yeah, it just started rotting, and we're like, oh man, it's ruined. There's no life left in it. Uh, I the thing is, like, I don't consider Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback, but he just won a Super Bowl. We've seen Nick Foles with the Eagles. He was a damn backup. You know, so it's just to say, like, if you get the pieces right, a guy like Purdy can win you a Super Bowl. And he damn near did. If it wasn't for
Yeah.
the weird Mahomes magic that we see way too often in the NFL, if it wasn't for that, Purdy would have won that Super Bowl. He performed well enough. Um, he did not hold that team back at all, as far as I'm concerned. It's just, I don't know. So
Can he
I
do
think,
it? Can he do it with $50 million a year less talent around him, though? That's the question.
yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but if they draft well enough, does that matter? You know, like if they fill their holes with stud draft picks that hit off right off the bat and they develop well, it doesn't matter.
Yep, you're
He'll do
right.
it. Them making tons of money, and he's won Super Bowls after the fact. So, although he's a bit of an aberration because he's more talented than Purdy is, but I'm just saying, like, you can do it.
Dude, you know how much more money we've been playing with because we've had Sauce and Garrett and Brees and Jermaine making nothing. It's like having an extra 100 million in cap space every year. And what have we got out of it, man? Um, Quarterback matters, and you got to have something there. You can't have a net negative. Purdy is not a net negative. Like you said, man, hit on one or two guys. Literally, you could hit on two guys and it offset Purdy's contract. But if you hit on no guys, then you're snowballing, and yeah, you'll be searching Jets worldwide for your next hit. Hey,
Yeah.
have a good night, Rick Kent. Good to have you, man. Good to have you.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know, man. It's the NFL. It's not easy. It's not easy to win a Super Bowl. It's not even easy to get in the playoffs, as we fucking know. So we're talking, to win a Super Bowl, you have to get everything right, man. Like, it just everything has to click right at the right time, and it's not an easy thing to do. I'm just saying that you can win a Super Bowl with a guy like Brock Purdy. I
yeah,
think.
they almost did, like you said. And I think if they get another chance at it, they won't take it for granted. They'll do things differently. Winding down here, guys. If you do want to get in on the conversation, the call in line is pinned. If not, just keep chatting away. Hit the like button. That's all we ask. And if you are chatting, then you are subscribed. So appreciate you guys for that. Aller next year will be our savior. That is the without watching any film whatsoever. Aller is at the top of my list. Yeah, I know. That's daring of me to say, right? Uh, Penn State connections, though, huge for us right now. Um, Got to see. I'm gonna look very hard on Saturdays for our next guy this fall, and I
Yeah.
suggest everyone do the same because you got to have your own take. Don't just go by what others say. You have now a year. You can't say we didn't warn you. We are drafting a quarterback next year.
Oh,
Figure
yeah.
out who you want.
I think even if Justin Fields has a decent or a good year, I think they're still probably going to draft a QB. I I agree though. Like, I like Aller a lot. I watched a little bit of Penn State last year, not a ton. Um, I was kind of like, in a way, I was kind of bummed, probably selfishly, that he didn't come into the draft. But thinking back to it, it might have been the best choice for him. Um, even though next year's draft is more quarterback heavy, I do think there were things that I saw out of him last year where I'm like, he could probably work on that. He wasn't a perfect prospect, but he's got a lot of the things that I like, in a prospect, and another year honing his skills a little bit, and I think he could be a stud for sure.
Let me. Do you think that if we kept Conklin, he would have had a decent year this year? Just yes or no?
Talking about Justin Fields?
No, Tyler Conklin.
Oh,
If we kept,
okay. Um, I think he'd have probably had a Conklin year. I don't. It depends whether you consider that decent, or you know what I mean. Like I think he
okay.
had a 650, 700 yard, 4
What?
touchdown.
Okay. What about Morgan Moses? Would he have had a decent year? Not to be a negative, but like a positive year.
Yeah, I think so.
You think Aaron Rodgers would have?
I don't know.
Okay. What about DJ Reed?
Only because I believe in Glenn as a at least as a coach that can make sure his DBs are doing the right things. Yeah.
And I ask all this just to like to hammer home the point of these are guys we could have had again, and we parted with to get younger, to get a higher upside. And I think if Fields has a decent year, I think we'll still do the same at quarterback again. I mean, Conklin, guess what? We said no, we'll see ya. We just go draft Mason Taylor. Morgan Moses, nah. We just go draft Membu. DJ Reed, nah. We'll go get AZ Thomas. Rodgers, nah. We'll just go get Fields, man. We're not going to pay you. Like, all those guys would have cost more. Fields, if we want to keep him long term, he's going to cost Purdy money probably, because that means that he was good. Say $40 million a year. Like, when you're staring at paying a guy that we've already seen do it, they seem to be opting for the no. I'm gonna go back to the well. I'm gonna go get new seeds. We already seen this plant. I'm gonna go get another seed and see what I can grow. I think if Fields has a good year, they will draft another quarterback next year. If it's 3 years from now, they might just keep going with him. But, like, they still have time to start over with stuff. And quarterback, I think they will.
Honestly, like, it would be optimal. Almost in a way, it would be optimal for Fields to have a good year. It would suck for draft position, but it would give you, because you have Fields on a 2-year deal. He has to play. He can bitch about not getting, you know what I mean? But it's like, play another year, dude, and you're the starter, because this dude that we drafted is going to sit behind you, and he's gonna let the game slow down. He's going to learn from the coaches. He's going to learn the system. He's going to learn New York. He's going to learn the media. There's so much when you're a rookie. It's just like an overload of information. You know what I mean? You're meeting the staff. You're meeting janitors. Like, you're just like, there's so much. And then on top of trying to learn a new playbook and run the team and be a leader and all that, there's so much, man. So it would be optimal if Fields had a good year, and then we go into 2026 and he's the starter, and we got a guy sitting behind him that's just sitting there learning, and Fields can have a freaking hellacious year that year too, and let him walk. We got our guy, right? Kind of like how the Vikings did with Sam Darnold this year. It was like, hey, we got our guy. Like, kill it and go get you a contract, man. Like, that's fine. There will be a lot of Jet fans that'll be upset if Fields does have 2 good years in a row. There will be a lot of Jet fans that are upset that we didn't just re-sign him, and maybe I'll even be in that. Because if we to see a quarterback have 2 good years in a row, We don't see that as Jet fans. So, I might be upset myself, but at the same time, that's a good problem to have. Like, nobody was dissing on the Vikings this past offseason because they had that problem. It's like they had a good problem. It was like, hey, they already got a quarterback that seems to be able to do it. And then they got a guy that's been learning that they trust in. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would welcome that.
Well, and the other thing is you don't have to just, like you said, you get that second year out of him. If he has a good first year, guess what, bro? You got to do it again because now you're in a contract year. And if you're not playing for us, you're playing for the league. You have to do good your second year. You have to do even better. So, like, yeah, that getting him for the second year. And it's funny because that's why Pittsburgh lost him. They would not give him money beyond year one. That played right into our favor. And I've been hearing, oh, Pittsburgh didn't want him. No, like, dude, a couple weeks and people forget all the facts. It's annoying, but they would not guarantee him money past year one. While we only guaranteed him 30, that's still further than Pittsburgh was going with it. So yeah, he's gonna have to not just do good this year. He's gonna have to do good for 35 games in a row, and then he can. And yes, like you said, the only thing that'll suffer is our draft spot. And you know what, dude? How good has top 8 picks been to us anyway?
Yeah, and the quarterback draft this coming year is going to be so heavy that you'll still be able to get one of those highly rated guys at like 7 or 8. So if you can trade from 15 to 8 or 7 and still get your guy, I mean, when was Josh Allen drafted? I mean, I don't actually expect you to know the exact pick, but it wasn't in the top
2017. Oh, I see.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just
I don't
saying he
know.
was like, I don't remember. He was like 10th or something. I don't know. The Bills traded up to that to get him. It could be the same thing for us. I would prefer to have a high pick so we know we can get our guy. But I don't know. But what do you think? Like Scott is saying that Fields has a good year. He's not even going to play unless we're giving him a contract the next year. What do you think about that, Dane?
You're saying he'll hold out next spring,
I think
or
that's what
he's.
Scott's.
You know what? He would have to play damn good. Like, again, it's context. Is he winning with his legs, athletic style? Because that's not going to do him any service on the open market. If he's winning with his arm because he blossomed as a passer, yeah, I might go give him 2 years again or 3 years. Like, I would rather have more dead money down the road because it's not that he fizzled out, but it's that we have a rookie that's doing better that's going to supplant him. Like, these are problems I beg for.
Yeah, I don't think it like, dude. What are you gonna do? Hold out? You're gonna ruin it. That has not worked for players yet. From the Le'Veon Bells to whatever. Um, he's got to play. He ain't got a choice. He's under contract. He can bitch and moan all he wants, but he's going to have to go out there and prove it again. And if I'm Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, I'm going to say, hey, we appreciate you, what you did last year. We need you to do it again. If you do it again, you're getting paid. And even if
Yep.
like what we're offering you isn't enough, you're going to get paid by somebody else at the very least. So just get out there and do it again, man. And if you want more money right now, I'm sorry about your luck. You signed this contract. We didn't force you to. There was no coercion here. Like, we didn't tie your mama up and put her in the closet. Like, no, like you signed the contract knowing that your stock was not that high. So you're going to have one good year and tell us that we need to pay you now? No, that's not how this works.
Especially since we were the one team willing to give you a second year. Like,
That's it.
bro.
That's it. Yeah.
Scott, he's firing back. See what he has to say. Dude, to do that all the time when they have dudes do that all the time when they have 1 year left on their contract. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
to do it after you fought, good.
They bitch and moan, but they don't hold out. They might hold out training camp or something, but like, and the teams give in sometimes, but they really don't have the power. It's literally that or hold out. And if you hold out for a year, you're rusty, and you're likely not going to be able to catch that spark that you had the previous year.
Yep.
You
Yep.
you're really, I don't know how to put it. It's a gamble, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're going to hold out for a year, that's a hell of a gamble. Didn't work out for Hassan Reddick, did it? Didn't work out for Le'Veon Bell, did it? Like these guys sit out, they get rusty, and they can't recapture that spark that they had. Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson, he got suspended for a year. He's never been the same since.
You might forego that one shitty contract year that you're giving up. Like, you could be giving up the rest of your years, which is how many millions, you know? Like, look at Kaepernick, could never get back in the league. I don't know that he chose to, but like the money he could have made is like just, dude, you kind of just gotta play their game. Take the money that's offered you. If you have, like, people think they have leverage more often than they really do. I think that's what you're trying to say too. Like, just take it and prove them wrong till you do have that leverage. Harlan's down there. He's saying, hey, we can get quarterbacks outside the top 10, and I agree with him. The hard part though is there's so many that theoretically should be at the top of the class next year. Um, it's hard when it's that top heavy to take a guy in the third and hope that he's a gem when six guys went, in the top 15 or something like that. But yeah, that might be the answer. If Fields does exceptional, maybe we do. Maybe the happy medium is you take a quarterback in the second round, in the third round, and in the first you give Fields a weapon, or something like that. There is a middle ground that we were overlooking.
Yeah, and also like you could he could have a good year, try to demand a contract. You can say, hey, no, you got to play, but it doesn't mean also that he has to play the full season. Like, if he gets 5, 6 games into the season and he is rolling like he was the previous season or something, maybe they'll just fucking re-sign him right then and there. There's no restrictions on that. You can give him an
Scott
extension, you know.
and Scott's saying he's not talking about sitting out. He's talking about holding out until the key. So like, he got a 2 year, $40 million deal. 30 of 40 is guaranteed. If he plays exceptional in year one and he holds out, I'd be willing to guarantee the rest of it. While someone develops under him, we'll guarantee you 10 more because it's not making the overall 40 larger. It's just bringing the 30 guaranteed up. So yeah, there's ways. Like, there's a
But
lot of steps to go.
the team can say hold out all you want. You know what I
They
mean?
can too.
Hold out until it's to the point where you're sitting out, and that is what it is. You're screwing yourself. Like, ultimately the team does hold the power there because you signed the contract.
Yeah,
And this is
and we got
coming
all
from a
the
pro union guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I am in the Teamsters union. You know what I mean? So like, but I still recognize that, a lot of the time the company has the say so. You know what I mean? Like, they need to work with us, but like, we can make their life hard, but it doesn't mean we're ending it. Like, I don't know.
And Mo's just giving us some stats here about the odds of hitting on a guy that ever reaches Pro Bowl status. It's pretty bleak because them reaching it doesn't mean they stayed there or they even got there more than once. So it's tough, man. I think the main thing that would set us back the fastest is if we did take one in the top 10 and they busted. That's what we can't do. Not again in the Sauce Garrett window of prime. We can't do it twice. So whoever you do take, if it's a high guy, you have to hit. You have to be sure about, and you have to, it's not just draft, right? It's draft and develop. If Fields is developed, that'll give me more confidence that whoever they do take, they'll know what to do with. But yeah. I think that about does it for me, man. Good.
There's a lot of context to that too. Like if Fields is slinging the ball all over the place, then I am a little more open to giving him that second contract. And this is all hypotheticals anyway. But I just think that honestly, it'll be a great problem to have. That's where we started with this, and I'm just circling back to it. That is a great problem to have. If Fields ends up slinging that ball around and we're like, oh man, should we re-sign him? That's an excellent problem to have.
One that it's hard for me to even envision, man. Like it's hard for any team to envision. The guy has been on his third team. But there's context, like you said, to the new problem. Like, there's context to that. He's had 3 OCs in 4 or 5 years, and now he's on another one. So, we'll see. We'll see. I got a leak. Murph, that would, if I do, that can buy me 20 more minutes, but I'm also cool just wrapping now, unless you have, the want to chop it up longer.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to say, really. I am getting kind of tired.
Yeah, I think leave it here.
No, I think we'll probably leave it here.
Yeah. Well, like I said, guys, we had Green Bean on earlier. You have all weekend. Go back and rewatch some of that, man. There were some good takes from Green Bean and Murph for sure. I was a little choppy, but I think it's worth rewatching. Check us out, and I'll cut up the better parts of it and re-release it too. So keep an eye out for that. Hit the like button. We'll catch you next week.
See you fellas later.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. JTS. Jets.
Can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.